Hey everybody, Dow Jones Dave here, and taking up from yesterday's video, you can see here the bonds did decline overnight. Didn't really affect the market too much. The S&P's down 19.3. It should have been rallying while these bonds declined. The only thing I can figure is that the market hasn't figured out that these bonds are coming, yields, by the way, are coming down, which is going to boost up the stock market. Now, first of all, I've taken a contract, 2 options, 48 around $100, and I'm long, short on the SPXS bear fund. Not to be fancy, it's just cheaper than going with the SPXL, which is a lot more expensive. So the options are more expensive, and I don't, it's just mad money. Although I am trying to become a professional options trader. Figure if I can take this account and get it to a certain size and get more consistency in my trades, I'll be there. So let's get to this trade. Oh, Intel. I'm dying to short Intel because of this trend right here. Waiting for a retest. And see this? There's the horn, there's the head, there's the horn, bull and its horns. Well, let's look at that technically. The reason I want to short Intel is they have negative earnings, estimated to have worse earnings by the end of the year, and they cut their dividend. So we got a lot going against Intel fundamentally now. And although I am a trader, I always have my eyes on fundamentals because ultimately fundamentals drive the market. And if I'm going to short a stock, I want one that has negative earnings, cutting their dividend, estimated to have lower earnings by the end of the year. That's the kind of thing I want to short. And Intel fits the bill. A lot of other stocks do too, but I really like this bull and its horns thing where it's basically a head and shoulders with the shoulders higher than the head. And the higher they are than the head, the more of a bull and its horns is. And you can see when they correct hard. So I'm looking for a retest, and then I want to short Intel. And I figure we're going to get the retest today. What's it look like on a, let's see, 1 minute? Don't know what that is. 1 hour. 1, 2, here's the dip. It's going to rally up. And then I want to short it. Which is why I only have 1/3 of my funds available, because I expect to exit. This is a gap trade, basically, and I expect to exit pretty soon. And sorry I didn't get it up in time, this video up in time for you to join along with me. Well, maybe you are. I don't expect to make a whole lot of money. But something is better than nothing, and the other choice is to sit on the sideline and wait for the retest or, the gap closure. Are we there almost? 12.8. So that'll get me up a few percentage points if it actually hits the gap. We see the 5 minutes up. What's the hourly say? Hourly's turning up. How about the daily? The daily isn't turning up yet. We see bonds coming down. I don't think this is going to come up here. I'll tell you why. Because this trend line failed. So I think it may at most come up to here and then roll over on the bonds. So bonds are toast. If you look at the 1 day, you can see it's turning down. Now the 5 minute has turned down, but the 1 hour has yet to turn. Once the 1 hour turns down, it's toast. And that'll pretty much be my signal short, to close the long and go short. Other than that, I don't have much to say. See what we're doing here on the. You know what really irritates me? I wanted to buy on the open when it was down here, but by the time I got my order in, it was up here. I don't know, somewhere around here. How frustrating. So I was ready to buy more if it came down and retested, but it doesn't look like it's going to. We'll see what happens with this 1 hour. You notice it's been now it's down low, and like I said, I don't expect it to get above here. on the hourly on the S&P. So once it starts getting up here, the MACD, you got to start thinking about taking your profits. How we doing now? Oh, up a whole $3. That's 6.25%. If I was trading with more money, you know, if I would have had 1,000 in here, that'd be like $60, $62. That's a day's burger flipping wages if you're not working full time. And I live off very small amounts of money. Every penny I make usually goes into one of my online stores, and I trade options, trying to get good enough at trading options so I can sell my shit, sell off my stores, and just become an option trader. Since I seem to enjoy doing this more than just about anything else but sex, you know. So what's going on with Intel? Do we want to go through this? Sure. I'm getting a little bit faster at it. I wish I could just hit enter, but you can't. You have to come down and do that silly OK thing. 2, but I'm getting faster. 3. I mean, probably should maybe use a... So, we're going to buy Intel as a rally? No, because I want to short it, and I don't want to use up my funds today. I've got 2/3 of my funds available in cash. And, of course, we want to watch this. It's actually pretty ugly looking, to tell you the truth. It should dip more. You see what I mean? So we're probably going to end up with a trend like off of this. That's my guess. I don't know. Right now, this is inconclusive. Generally don't like that when it's paralleling the line. That means you're not ready. It's not primed yet. But we're not going to trade this. We're going to wait for it to come up, test this trend line, and then short it along with the market. I think we'll get a better return shorting individual stocks as long as you're shorting the right ones. And, well, let's take a look at Intel. I have it right here. In case any of you wondering about me and fundamentals, I'm into fundamentals. And I choose the Dow because there's only 30 stocks I have to look up. Let's look. What are we looking for? Intel. There it is. Estimated growth is 67.14%. With the operating PE, all these numbers in here are generated off of operating earnings, which are different than net. And maybe I'll do a video explaining that. I have an investing school I started. It's got 1 class so far. This would normally be a buy, a raging buy, because the PE is half of the growth rate. That's insanely discounted for Dow stock. And there are a few Dow stocks that are rated that way. So 1.74, this is growth divided by PE. And the higher the number, the better. 1.74 implies that if these estimates pan out, that you would make a 74% profit in the next 12 months. Do I believe that? No. Although Intel, this is, what is that? By the way, this is updated weekly, and this is probably the only view you're ever going to get of this index complete, because I'm pretty stingy with these numbers. I did a lot of work to put it together, and it's my property, but I can't copyright it. Only the format can I copyright, so anybody can steal these numbers. But good luck updating them if you're going to do that, and because I'm the updater. What are we looking for? Intel. Here it is. Okay, we're at 90 cents. It's red because it compares disfavorably with this year's consensus estimates of 63 cents. These are the 12-month trailing earnings, the last 4 quarters. This is the last fiscal year. Okay? And you're getting a lot of free information just right here. I tell you, I don't want to show this, but the alternative was to make a separate slide, copy this out, make a chart, and I don't feel like doing that. I'm trading. so I don't have time to do all that shit. See where I'm at. I'm still up. I'm still up. Although this may not. Let's see. Let's update it. Only up $1 now. Well, the rule here is if this tanks and I get down substantially, like 20% on the option, I'll buy more contract. I've got enough to buy 4 more contracts, and actually the price will be lower if this goes negative, so maybe even 5 contracts. And I'm willing to load up on this trade. Let's go back down to the 1 minute. 10 minutes left in the video. Now, this leads me to believe that it's going to come down and retest. Plus, you see the 1 minute is 5 minutes starting to roll over. But the 1 hour is low and is due to turn up. Now, well, I already told you about all that, how I don't think it's going to go much further than that. And but we might see a protracted rally a few days. Depends on what these bonds do. Bonds look like they're going to tank. Now, they look bullish here, but that's the 1 hour. And then we already explained we got problems on the 1 hour with sustainability. This big thing looks like a head to me. You know, and S&P still playing around. That's because these bonds are up. See, the S&P came down, was down like 30, and then it reduced to 20. Now it's, I don't know what it's doing. Hopefully bonds aren't decoupling from stocks yet. That would ruin this trade if that's happening. That happens when investors flee the Dow in terror and buy bonds. Then the yields come down and the Dow crashes. The yields come down on bonds and the yields go up on the Dow. As investors flee the Dow, prices go down, yields go up. Buy bonds, prices go up, yields go down, until we achieve a normalized relationship between bonds and stock. That hasn't happened, and that's basically what my barometer measures. In other words, when people flee into stocks, the barometer finds that, right? And when stocks are at the point where people are going to flee for bonds, the barometer measures that too. By the way, what is the barometer? I'm redoing my spreadsheet, so some of this stuff won't look like you're familiar with. Barometer at 112 as of yesterday. There's my Dow Jones Days unex-dividend adjusted industrials composite index using operating earnings. And as you can see, you have a completely different set of metrics when you're looking at operating earnings and unadjusted industrials composite index. The yield is 2.51 against 2.072. You know, there's some heavy internal differences, and I explained about that, the Dow Industrial Advisor, and how they take ex-dividend and put it back into the stock, which is stupid. You shouldn't do that because it's faulty accounting, to tell you the truth. And you can look up the term ex-dividend, and then I have like a video about, I don't know, it's in one of my videos, about why I'm doing the composite unadjusted. Because now we only have a 19 PE yield of 2.51%, dividends rising 7.53%, earnings down 16.5%, and that's the big bugaboo. And anyway, that's all she wrote for that. So as you can see, Intel, you saw from that, this is what is going to be free. This is a weekly event Disney reported last week. So if you just sub to my channel, you'll get this every week, and nothing else will be there, only the event stocks. And I'm going to put this behind a Patreon page or a subscription service or something, because this information is incredibly valuable and it's extremely difficult to compile. It took me 2 weeks of working a few hours a day to get this where it is now. Maybe even longer, I don't remember. It's been a while. I've been working on it for a while. So now that it's set up, all I have to do is update this, the price, and whenever